Let's call our meeting to order at 7 o'clock on Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. 7. Can we have a roll call, please?
Owen Costanza.
Here.
Sine Hubbard. Here. Jeff Goings.
Here.
Mark Vance.
Here.
Dan Cheek.
Here.
Dave Allgood.
Here.
Christy Richardson.
Here.
Aaron Zito.
Here.
Ken Garrett.
Here.
Ion Steer. David Howe. Chris Hopkins. And I'm here.
Excellent. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. There's no phone participation today. Do we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Move to approve the agenda.
Motion by Owen,
Second.
second by Dan. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Tonight's agenda has passed. Do we have a motion to discuss and approve Board of Trustee meeting minutes from July 23, 2025?
Move to approve minutes from July 23, 2025.
Second.
Oh, motion by Owen, second by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Great. Board of Trustee minutes from July 23, 2025 passed. Any public comment for items not on the agenda?
Madam President, point of privilege, please.
Yes, sir.
Would like to thank you all for being here. Please be mindful during your public comment not to take a lot of time because there may be a lot of people that want to speak. But also remember, public comment is for items that are not on the agenda. I can't think that, probably the blue sheet, right?
Blue sheet.
And if you want to speak specifically on an agenda item, that would not be a topic for the public comment. That would be something that would be addressed when that item is called during the agenda.
Thank you. That's the yellow sheet. All right. We have department reports. David, do you have anything extra? Any questions for David? David?
So she's got something extra. I haven't been too busy to message you, but are we going to get to spraying the curb lines or?
They actually sprayed last week and they started the end of 2 weeks ago and finished up last week.
Okay.
So that has been done with the exception of one.
Okay.
Any other questions for David? Okay, great. Any questions on the treasurer report that was provided? I do have a comment on it, just so everyone knows. When you're looking through those first quarter numbers, you will see, as I notated here, bank reconciliations are in progress with the intention to be caught up by early September. So Sickage is finally to the point where they can actually go back and do the bank reconciliations for the first quarter. So you don't see some of the income that we would typically have posted. So for example, like in property taxes and road and bridge, those will get caught up and posted when the reconciliations get done. And just to point out, was a handful of items that I noticed as I looked through Q1 that were misclassified, and Sickage and I have gone back and reclassified those, and those will be reflective in the next reports. So, are there any other questions? Okay. Engineering report. Chris, do you have anything to add to this report? Okay. Any questions for Chris?
I do have one question.
Yes, sir. Can you put your mic on, please? Thank you.
On this Candlewick Lake interconnection agreement, is his agreement with the association and its properties, or is this with Aqua?
It'd be with Aqua.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you. Motion to discuss and approve resolution 2025-50.
Skip an eye, wastewater.
I did. I skipped away there. I'm sorry, Ion. I apologize. I got excited.
He's here.
Look at me. I apologize. Any questions for Test and Ion? He is here. Thank you for catching me. Any questions? Ion, do you have anything to add?
small things. We did have an EPA inspection last week. We did have an EPA inspection last week. Everything went well. Just some small things like thermometers out of date. It was kind of a surprise. Usually they give us a couple months notice. They gave us a couple of days. So, but everything was pretty good. So.
Thank you, sir.
I do have a question.
Okay, yes, David.
So have the dialer issues been resolved, or do we still have a couple of outstanding dialer issues?
David and I are working with that, but it should be resolved by the end of the week.
Any other questions? Okay, now we'll move on. Sorry about that, Ion. Item number 6, motion to discuss approve resolution 2025-15, a resolution of the Village of Poplar Grove, Illinois, resolving to accept the quote from BS&A Software to provide services to manage software needs.
Motion to approve BS&A software.
Motion by Sine, second by Owen. Do we have any questions on this item? Okay. Roll call, please.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Owen Costanza, Mark Vance,
Yes.
Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Dave Allgood,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-15 passes. Okay. Next, motion to approve resolution 2025-16, a resolution of the Village of Poplar Grove, Illinois, resolving to accept a quote from Andrews Technology, HMS Inc., to implement and maintain a web-based time and attendance system.
Move to approve resolution 2025-16.
Motion by Dave,
Second.
Second.
second by Owen. Any questions on this item? Okay, roll call, please.
Mark Vance,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard,
Yes.
Owen Costanza,
Yes.
Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Dave Allgood.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-16 passes. New business. Motion to discuss approve check disbursement for payment scheduled to be paid before August 31st, 2025 in the amount of $65,930.47 in AP checks, $7,877.25 in EFTs, and an estimated payroll of $15,533.83 for a total of $89,341.55.
Move to approve total disbursements of $89,341.55.
Second.
Motion by Dave, second by Mark. Any questions on anything in your packet on this item? Roll call, please.
Mark Vance,
Yes.
Dave Allgood,
Yes.
Owen Costanza,
Yes.
Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Dan Cheek,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard.
Yes.
Check disbursement in the amount of $89,341.55 passes. Motion to discuss and approve resolution 2025-17, a resolution of the Village of Poplar Grove resolving to award a construction contract for section number 25-00000-00 GM 2025 pavement maintenance program to Rock Road Companies, Inc.
Move to approve resolution 2025-17.
Motion by Owen.
Second.
I heard a second by Dave. Any questions? Or Chris, do you want to weigh in on this, please?
Yeah, just a couple of things I want to pass along. First of all, there's some changes that have happened in the marketplace around here for contracting. If you haven't heard, NTRAC used to own a quarry in a HMA plant out by Irene Road. And they have, over the past couple of months, sold that plant, and now Rock Road owns it. So essentially, we are down to one supplier of HMA for this entire area, hot mix asphalt for the entire area that's easily serviceable. So we have had companies come in from the outer suburbs. You can see Schroeder submitted a bid, and they were actually pretty competitive. But what ends up happening is when asphalt is hauled a long way, it tends to segregate. The big rock kind of tends to fall to the bottom of the truck, and it has to get remixed again before it can be paved. Otherwise, you'll see these big areas of the pavement where it just looks like there's just big stones and there's no fine materials whatsoever. And over time, that will break down a lot faster than what it should. So, we've just had a change in the marketplace really since the beginning of the year. That's going to affect not only you folks, but everybody around. So, that said, asphalt pricing came in about where we thought it would be. The surprise on this was the concrete pricing. We had a lot of concrete work in this particular job, and the concrete work came in almost double what we had expected to see. And in fact, we opened another bid today in another community, and we ran into the exact same thing. Concrete was high, and the cost of materials have been going up since the beginning of the year, but not enough in my mind to justify the numbers that we've seen. That said, we're still, pretty close to being within budget. Staff is going to just monitor things as we go along. If we need to make some cuts just to stay within budget, for cuts in scope, that's what we'll do. Dave and I have already kind of talked through a couple of things where it's easy pickings to save a little bit of money if we need to. So we're hoping we can work with Rock Road to have them work on Titleist first, get all that concrete work done ahead of the sidewalk work, and then move their way into the sidewalks. That way Titleist is paved and we've got a really good idea where we're at budget-wise as we're going through the remainder of the program. Any questions?
Chris, who will they be using for concrete?
Most likely it's not Rogers Ready Mix. They've sold out to, I can't remember the name of.
My company.
Is it you?
Yes, BCNA.
It is.
Very
Okay.
common. That's why I wanted to bring it up to see if it's them.
Are you making a move, Jeff?
No, I should. It's 15
I was
minutes.
going to say it's closer.
But yeah, I'm just curious if you heard that or not.
I knew they had sold out, but I had forgotten the name of the
Yeah,
company.
we bought them.
Okay. Well, congrats.
Any other questions for Chris? Can we have a roll call, please?
Dave Allgood,
Yes.
Owen Costanza,
Yes.
Jeff Goings,
Yes.
Mark Vance,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard,
Yes.
Dan Cheek.
Yes.
Resolution 2025-17 passes. All right, typically, if I remember, we're going to have a motion to discuss and approve ordinance 2025-23, an ordinance of the Village of Poplar Grove authorizing a special use permit for ground-mounted solar collectors at the properties with pins 03-23-200-014 and 3, and -03-23-200-17.
Move to approve ordinance 2025-23.
Motion by
Second.
Owen, second by Dave. This is typically where we would allow our public comment on this item.
I will call them in the order that they were given to me. So first is Zach and Michelle Anderson. The mic is on.
All right. I'm Michelle. That's Zach. We live in the West Grove subdivision. We actually live right on Tall Grass Trail, so this does affect us a lot. We just wanted to point out a few things. First being that the Boone County Soil and Water Conservation District Board did say that they have an unfavorable opinion on this due to the permanent placement on the prime farmland that is necessary for the implementation of this project and concerns about the wet soils. The landowner that they're trying to put this on his land behind us, he told us at the planning and zoning hearing and swore under oath that the soil was bad and that if it were good soil, he wouldn't be doing this. So basically he lied to everyone under oath. Or if he just didn't know, he should be sticking to his word at this point, because according to the land evaluation and site assessment system, the land and soil is good. It's ranked as prime farmland with an average score of 88, 0 being the worst, 100 being the best, so 80 is a good score. We also want to point out the code 857 D2 In there, it states that with these special use permits, they will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other properties in the immediate vicinity for the purposes already permitted, not substantially diminish and impair property values within the neighborhood. So they're right there. They can't prove that without a reasonable doubt that this will not decrease our property values living this close to them. We have found a lot of evidence that does prove that they will decrease our home values. And as homeowners, we have rights too. Planning and zoning voted no on this proposed project because after hearing all the evidence, it was the right thing to do, and we hope you all vote no too. Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I have evidence of a study done. So they presented a study by a solar company. This is done by Agriculture Committee.
They don't take that,
You
Zach.
guys take these? Oh, we sent them emails. Oh, sorry. Last time they took copies, I don't know. But
It's a meeting, it's just.
yeah,
I mean,
it proved that it dropped the value of the houses. I mean, and we also have a lot of people that can't be here. Tommy Carpenter, he had surgery. He would love to be here. Can we read? So one of our neighbors sent an email to all you guys. Justin Lewis, can we read it or no?
Is that,
He sent it to us.
Did
too.
Mr. Lewis, did the clerk receive that?
I got forwarded by one of the trustees. So I
And
can read.
did he ask to have it read into the record?
No.
No.
No, he just sent it. He didn't
But
say-
it was sent to all the trustees as well. I don't have an issue with it being read then at that point.
I can read it.
Yeah.
Clerk's gonna read it.
Okay, can we sit?
Yeah.
thank you.
Do you want me to read it now or do you want me to wait till
You
after
can take it as the last
the last?
public
Okay.
comment.
Madeline Ragland. I hope I said that right. I'm sorry.
Good evening. I'm a little nervous. I've never done anything like this before, but I felt very compelled to come down here and tell you today that I am expressing my strong opposition to the proposed solar farm on the farmland adjacent to West Grove subdivision. While renewable energy is important, placing an industrial solar project in the middle of a residential and agricultural community will cause far more harm than good. First and foremost, my home and property value will suffer. Large solar arrays bring noise from construction, maintenance vehicles, and inverters. They create an industrial view where there was once open farmland, dramatically reducing curb appeal and lowering property values for all nearby homeowners. Who wants to purchase a home overlooking a sea of metal panels instead of fields, trees, and natural landscape? Sorry. There are also health and quality of life concerns. The reflective glare from solar panels can create constant eye strain and light disturbance. The low hum from equipment can be disruptive, especially at night when the area should be quiet. Construction and maintenance will generate dust, heavy truck traffic, air pollution, which can trigger breathing problems and worsen asthma. Runoffs from disturbed soil and potential chemical leaks from solar equipment could also seep into groundwater. We must also consider the environmental consequences. This project will destroy productive farmland that provides food and absorbs carbon. Once covered in solar panels, that land is no longer usable for crops or habitat. Native plants, wildlife, and pollinators will lose their natural space. Rainwater that once absorbed into the ground will now run off reflective surfaces, raising the risk of flooding and erosion. In addition, the disposal of solar panels at the end of their lifespan create toxic waste concerns that will burden our community decades from now. This is not just about one property, it is about the character of our neighborhood and the safety of our residents. A solar farm belongs in an industrial zone or already developed land, such as rooftops, commercial properties, not on prime farmland in the middle of a residential area. Excuse me. In closing, while I support renewable energy, I cannot support this proposal. The risks to my home, my health, our environment, and our community are simply too great. I urge you to reject this plan and protect our farmland and neighborhoods from being turned into an industrial energy zone. Thank you.
You did a fine job.
Thank you.
Sorry, you're waiting on me. Daniel, Kelly? Didn't read the K. What's the surface R?
Good evening. I am the manager of Tahoe Trading Company that plans on leasing the land for this project. The August zoning meeting considered 6 factors for a special use permit for this project. Although all 6 do not have to be met, 4 were and 2 subjective items were not. The 2 being quiet enjoyment of neighboring property and negative impact on the value of adjoining properties. The committee was provided a study on assessing property value impacts near utility scale solar in the Midwestern United States to address property values by Loyola University of Chicago, published in December 2024. As the study showed, the effect of utility scale solar projects on nearby property values was actually positive in both rural and metro areas. This 2024 Loyola University study of 70 Midwestern utility scale solar projects found that nearby property values increased by 0.5% to 2% on average, contradicting fears of a decline and suggesting these projects can be an amenity rather than a detriment. This positive impact was more pronounced for smaller projects like this one, and was attributed to benefits like increased local tax revenue, improved public services, and new employment opportunities rather than aesthetic impacts alone. An early study on 956 unique U.S. installations found no conclusive relationship either way. The authors of this gave a declaration of interest. The authors declare that they have no known competing financial interests or personal relationships that could have appeared to influence the work in this paper. A zoning vote stated they disregarded this report because they were told it was paid for by the solar industry, which is incorrect. If you are really concerned about creating negative property values, then look at the drainage issues. Almost all neighboring property owners commented on the drainage easement on their property not being maintained, causing flooding and water and mold in their basements. Trajectory provided an engineered plan to solve this without cost to the village. Your village engineer has this plan. A homeowner selling by law must fill out an Illinois residential property disclosure form, and item 2 states, I am aware of flooding or recurring leakage problems in the crawl space or basement. The homeowner must answer the question. This should be the biggest concern for any loss of property value. On the question of quiet enjoyment of adjoining property, there is no noise concern. Any low decibel noise, about 56, from an inverter would be like a home air conditioner outside unit. And light industrial setbacks are 35 feet. Due to listening to residents concerned, we push this setback to 271 feet and will be screening the site with native trees, further reducing any noise to a negligible amount. Poplar Grove's population is 5,000. Residential housing board of the proposed project is 14. Because of these positive attributes, as elected officials, you get to decide what is really in the best interest of the village. And this project needs no village expense for infrastructure improvement like roads, sewer, water that would be needed for all other allowed uses with this light industrial zoning. It is not zoned ag. It's always been light industrial zoning. Any industries and retail could limit future residential development in the village if they take up much of that capacity. This project does not remove any A1 prime agricultural from farming, and I do like not being called a liar in public. The pH on this soil was 5.2 when we got it. It needs a tremendous amount of correcting, and the productivity index is 125. My personal preference for this project far outweighs any better monetary consideration for other uses. My company has already turned down a request for parceling out a lot for a trucking company. In closing, these solar installations, there are 3 solar installations in this area that have already been installed. This final one will fill the ComEd capacity, ensuring that our local residences and businesses will have energy independence and more control of what we pay for electricity. Thank you.
Okay, I will read Mr. Lewis. Ladies and gentlemen of the village board, I regret that I cannot attend tonight's meeting as I'm out of town for work. I am a union contractor in the precast concrete trade and currently building a new high school in Noka Heights, Illinois. Okay. I'm writing to express my strong opposition to the proposed solar farm that could be built only 300 feet from the back of my home in West Grove subdivision off a tall grass trail. I have lived here for 16 years and chose Poplar Grove after serving in the Marine Corps because I wanted a country living, open farmland, and distance from the city. The quality of life is why many of us live here. The proposal threatens the way of life. Once solar farms are permitted on farmland, it sets a precedence for further development that chips away at what makes our community unique. I understand this project is backed by the company from Highland Park, but a suburban style development does not belong here. If someone wants that lifestyle, there are plenty of places where it already exists. It should not be forced on Poplar Grove. From my research, the negatives of solar farm outweighs the positives. The potential decline in property values is a major concern, as are possible health risks. Beyond that, the process has already shown serious flaws. 1, the Village Zoning and Planning Commission already voted no on the project. Independent study proven from the land is farmable, graded 88 out of 100. Despite the property owner, Mr. Kelly of Tahoe Trading, testifying under oath that it was not. The Water Reclamation District also recommend against building the solar on this land. These points make it clear the project is not in the best interest of Poplar Grove. I urge you to listen to the residents who elected you and protect the rural character of our community. Please reject this proposal. Finally, I want to be direct. If the village board chooses to disregard the recommendation of the own zoning and planning commission, the facts presented and the voice of the residents, I will do everything in my power to ensure those responsible are not reelected. Respectfully, Justin Lewis.
Continue.
The solar people are here. Mac, you want to come up or?
Thank you all for having me. Matt Kopinski, Northern Illinois Project Development Manager with Trajectory Energy. I know this project has been the subject of quite a bit of discussion, but wanted to sum up what we shared over the course of this process. Inkberry Solar will be a quiet neighbor in an area that otherwise couldn't guarantee such a thing. I know there's been some continued confusion on this even today, but despite the parcel currently being farmed, the parcel is already zoned as industrial. I agree, these belong in industrially zoned areas. While I know it came as a surprise to some of the surrounding neighbors, I think it's important to remember this for a number of reasons, but particularly in the context of concerns about property values. Industrial zones like this one allow for much bigger and noisier developments. In this instance, up to 50 feet tall, and as we discussed, includes a trucking company, which our landowners already been approached about. Inkberry also brings with it some value adds for the village. Approximately $40,000 in annual electricity savings on bills for local subscribers, of which the village municipal facilities are eligible to subscribe, and the project pays a higher property tax than the land does now. So currently, the school district gets around $1,300 a year from this parcel in property taxes. In year one after solar is installed, it's almost $10,000. Additionally, we've made several commitments in response to feedback from the neighbors and village officials. Number one, in addition to planting pollinator-friendly habitat under the panels, which will reduce erosion and help restore the soil, we will follow, as mentioned, the village engineer's recommendations to help mitigate to help fix the erosion issues that exist on site already. Excuse me, existing drainage issues, which will also include addition of a new ditch. We will work with ComEd to move the above ground lines to underground at significant expense to us. And we've also proposed screening from the neighbors to the south of the project, and we'll continue to work with the village and zoning to find a solution that works for everyone. Finally, I want to acknowledge what I've heard about the village's past experience with development and its goals for the future. I know there have been past frustrations with developers disappearing, and while I hope our commitment to continuing to work with the village is clear, we will also put down financial assurance that will pre-fund the decommissioning of the system. So if we skip town during construction or 10 years after the project is built, there are funds sitting there with the village to decommission the site and decommission the system and restore the site. I also know that past experiences haven't changed the need or desire of the village for development or the challenges that presents. I hope we've shown over the course of this process why Inkberry is a good fit for the village. Thank you for your consideration, and I'm happy to answer any questions now or at a future date.
Nobody?
All right. What?
Well,
what's the,
go ahead.
no, I'm sorry.
Go
What's
ahead.
the amount of decommissioning funds that you're setting aside for this?
So decommit or financial assurance of
Yeah.
decommissioning, approximately $300,000. And then that gets reassessed typically every 5 years to keep up with inflation.
And what did you figure for infrastructure construction costs for the drainage and flooding?
We haven't put together any final figures on that, but probably several hundred thousand.
How much?
Several hundred thousand.
Several hundred thousand.
Do you have any other questions?
What's
Do
it?
you have any other questions?
No, go ahead. I can always come back.
I want to make sure we get questions out of the way before we can.
Yeah.
Dan, did you have any questions?
Oh, many. So the first time you reached out to me, I told you my biggest frustration with these was the inability to sign up for the benefits of it. I asked you both times you reached out to me to bring a mock-up. We got 2 TVs available for you right here to show us how easy it was going to be for the residents to sign up. Do you have that mock-up?
It was presented at planning and zoning.
But you didn't, but you called me and I asked for it. That was my biggest frustration. I reached out, when you reached out to me, by the way. I said, bring me a mock-up that shows the website, because you blamed it on ComEd. It got so difficult that we gave up. And that was a big push for me, was to see that mock-up. And all I see on our screens right now is our agenda. That's one question. You're talking several hundred thousands for the, yeah, well, for the drainage movement, when the file you sent me was 292,000 in tax increases over 35 years. I mean, whippy. If it wasn't so close to a residential area, it probably wouldn't bother me as much. But the fact that you're willing to invest this kind of money, and this one here in the flyer you sent out, $5 million plus investment, $3 million in labor, or $8 million plus that investment, plus the drainage and everything else, you're knocking on $10 million by the time this is all said and done. Well, and the problem I have with that is it's on the back, or the backs of the taxpayers, because all this is subsidies from the government. What is it? The tax credit for building is what, 30%, I believe? Then you can get 10% for a community develop. You can get 10% for using domestic materials. That's 50% of $8 million. That's $4 million on the backs of the hardworking American taxpayers. That's where I have a big problem. Then you're going to profit, but you can't give it to everybody in the town. You can only give it to a handful. Well, I don't represent a handful of people. I represent the entire community. So if you can't give it to everybody, then you shouldn't give it to anybody. I mean, you guys are living high on the hog. The companies are getting rich off the backs of these taxpayers. I mean, it's a lot of money you're putting into this. And the only reason you're going to put that kind of money in is if you're going to recoup it, or you're going to get big subsidies from the government. And we know it's in a hurry. You know, it's all going away in 27. So I'm sure this is a rush situation, but that is a lot of money. And there's got to be reasons behind this big push. Well, because of the money you're getting.
Dan,
I
do you
can
have a
address
question?
a couple points.
Do you have a question?
No, that mock-up was my big question. Actually, I do got one more question.
I can clarify a couple of those points if you would like.
Well, we're working on questions now. I rattled off. So I also heard, and this is a question, that the discount was offered to Tallgrass first. Is there any truth to that?
The discounts will be offered to Village of Poplar Grove residents first.
All right,
Yes.
so I heard somebody said it was gonna be offered to Tallgrass first. The decommission bond you discussed, who's gonna retain that, the village or the county?
It's not 100% clear who actually retains that, but we'd be happy to, if it is the county, we'd be happy to facilitate some sort of intergovernmental agreement if you'd prefer that it be held with the village, if that's not the norm.
The what?
Ja-
Anyways, one other thing I had too, are these things tethered in any way? Or when the storm comes through, microburst, tornado, any kind of cabling to retain them, or they just mounted to the post?
They're mounted to the post, so
So there's no tethering,
I'm not familiar with the term tethering, but they are
cable,
they're
something else?
piled. They're piled.
Yeah, some tile, there you go, that's a good word for it.
Yep.
They are tethered then?
They're pile driven.
But I'm just saying the panels themselves, they're just mounted to the pylons. There's no tethering system, tie-off, to retain them in case of a windstorm comes through. So they're not flying in the back of people's houses.
Yeah, so I mean the panels will be drilled into the mounting system.
No, so there's no tether.
Either drilled or clamped. Yeah,
Just mounted to the post.
and they are tested to withstand strong winds for the area.
We have tornadoes on it.
And then my other question was,
Yes.
with the planning and zoning negative approval, you had to draw up a plan for landscaping around there. Has that been started? And will the board get a copy of that since we didn't get a copy of the mock-up website?
It is in process, and it's going to be a collaborative process with the board and village staff as listed in the conditions. So that ultimately will need to go back to staff and the village for approval.
Right, that's in the questions.
Any other questions from the board?
Yes. May I be recognized?
Yes, please, Dave.
Thank you. I'm not going to address the contrast in whether or not it causes property value increase or decrease. I do have a question for Chris. Is the engineering plan that they submitted to you seem suitable?
Hello? Okay. We have talked about engineering concepts. We have not seen an engineering plan per se.
Okay, and during the planning and zoning review, was there any discussion on the economic disadvantages?
Yeah.
Was,
No.
you can pass the mic, yes?
Yeah, that's it. We'll just pass around the room. The Planning and Zoning Commission met 2 nights to discuss this. They discussed, there's 3 issues that were discussed. Property values, drainage concerns, and environmental issues. Those are the 3 major concerns, with property values probably being the main concern. So the committee discussed a number of issues. They added a few, there was 3 conditions added before they took their vote to the conditions that were already written by staff. So there's like 8 or 9 conditions that are listed in the ordinance. And after a lengthy discussion and going over the finding of facts, they voted 3-1 to not recommend approval of the project.
Okay, you might as well hold on to the microphone.
Okay.
I'll skip over my next one. So number 3 on my list was, how does this fit in with the development plan that we had just accomplished last year?
The comp plan, is that what you're referring to? The comp plan did not impact this property area. This is zoned light industrial. There are many other uses that don't need a special use permit requirement. As they mentioned, a trucking business. There's other uses that are allowed, that would be allowed just through the permitting process. No special hearings at all. So, although it is a farm, it is agricultural use. The underlying zoning is light industrial.
And how long has it been zoned in that current zoning?
A long time. I
All right.
can't speak on the number of years, but a long time.
And is anybody here aware of any health concerns or questions that were brought up during the planning and zoning hearing?
What do you mean by the question?
Was there any health concern questions brought up during the planning?
I would
and
say
zoning hearing?
environmental concerns. I think that there's a lot of debate about environmental concerns and whether there are some or not. We could find 20 studies and 10 will say one thing and 10 will say the other thing. So as far as factual, I think that you take wherever the studies come from and put your merit on them. But I don't think there was technically a human health issue. It's more environmental issues. So there was not a specific comment. Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
So the issue was raised. There were comments made by members of the public saying that they were concerned about health effects from the solar panels, electromagnetic. So there were people that made comments to that effect. Likewise, there was then testimony also given by the property owner counter to that, saying that that within so many feet that electromagnetic magnetic signals couldn't be picked up by a reader there. So it did come up, if that's your question.
Yeah, and I was kind of curious if there was any credible testimony that was offered to either stand behind that or not stand behind that.
The issue was there was comments made on both sides.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have anything further. Thank you, Madam President.
Any other questions from the board?
I have comment, but I don't have question. But I don't know if Solar wants to respond to
Yes,
Trustee Cheek.
and let's go ahead and give you an opportunity to respond, please.
Yeah, sure. So, Mr. Cheek, if I recall, one of the things that you had mentioned, I'm sorry, can you remind me? There were a couple things that.
Well, you got your initial tax credits. I mean, there's capacity credits that are ongoing.
Right.
The domestic credits, the community credits are discounts.
Yeah, a small point of clarification that I recall now was the total project cost is $5 million. 3 of that $5 million is labor. So it's not additive. But
So why was it listed in the flyer that was sent to the residents is misleading of 8 million?
it said total project cost $5 million.
I don't believe it did. What did I do with it? What did I do with it? It said economic development and then labor. Where did it go? There it is. Estimated total investment in projects 5 million, estimated total labor 3 million. It doesn't say combined of, or it doesn't say together. I mean, if I was a rational resident and I see in this flyer come to me, I would think $8 million, the way it's written. It should have been a total of 5 million, including labor, but this is, I mean, it's, did anybody seen this? Anybody look at the flyer? I mean, to me, it screams $8 million, but I guess I interpreted it wrong.
So what's the amount of taxes that you're gonna take from taxpayers for this project? What did you guys figure since you put all these numbers out? What's your guys' payback from taxpayers' money out of that 5 million?
It depends on project timing and when it moves forward. But
Give me a ballpark.
roughly 30% of the 5 million would be a federal investment tax credit.
That's just federal or about state?
No state tax
No
credit.
state. Okay, because I know the state's big on solar, trying to get it in.
that there are state incentives that we intend to submit.
Right, so basically what we're gonna do, the village is gonna see pennies on the dollar for this, the majority of the money will go to the school. It's, in my opinion, it's not really benefiting us like a chunky company or another business that's gonna produce commerce in our community and, you know, probably produce more full-time jobs with benefits, things like that. You're talking $300,000 over 35 years. That's less than $10,000 a year. And the majority, like I said, majority of that's gonna go to the county and the school. And just like we take in pennies on the dollar for property taxes, you know, what the village actually gets here. I don't know the number offhand, but to me, it's not a good investment. I would rather see a truck. I don't know what you would want to see, but I would rather see a trucking company that's producing, moving, you know, hiring
Jeff.
people. Well, it's my opinion. I can speak.
Yeah, I just want to finish if you have any other questions
Right.
for him,
Well-
and then we can have a discussion at the.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I'll save it for discussion.
Okay. Are there any other questions? Any rebuttal, sir, before we're done?
No. I think
Okay.
that sums up.
Thank you. Okay. And then Jeff, if you would like to open up the discussion.
Well, I was just saying that, you know, you guys who live there, I don't live there, but I agree. I would want to look out my backyard and see a solar panel farm. I mean, they're trying to change the setbacks, things like that. This is just my opinion. But like I said, it doesn't really benefit our village monetarily. It's like I said, it's going to go to the school. The majority of it's going to school, just like your property taxes. 90% of it goes to the schools. And, you know, village gets a little bit, fire, police, county, a little bit, you know, and still 35 years, how much is it really going to benefit the school over a 35-year period? You know, it's not a lot. It's, in my thinking of it, it's peanuts. So, Dan's got the numbers. He's got a lot of numbers up here.
I know,
So
Sinead, did
I'm
you
just
have a
gonna
question?
finish there. I'm obviously opposed to it because there's a lot more, I think, to it than what the information. We've had all kinds of information. Solar's so new. The farms, they're popping up. You know, like I said, I know Illinois is big on it. Our governor's big on it. They want to get a lot of it in as much as they can before, like, all the tax breaks and things from federal and all that stuff. So I just think we should really consider, is this really benefiting our community? In my eyes, it's not, unfortunately. And I don't go into the meetings for planning and zoning. I take their recommendation. That's the first recommendation. I've been on the board for 14 years. That's the first no I've ever seen for a special use. So that speaks volumes to me right there. I've been here a long time. Unfortunately, I work a lot. I've missed a few meetings lately. It's the most I've ever missed, but that spoke a lot to me about, and I'm opposed to it, unfortunately.
Mark, did you have something you want to say?
I did. So the village does have our planning and zoning committees. We have them for a reason. That's their task is to look at our zoning and make approvals or recommendations. I can't say that I would be a good steward to our community if I voted against what their proposal or what their opinion is. So I would be against as well.
I'm kind of following along the same lines. I mean, I've listened to the comments, questions, and the testimony, and some of the things that I've heard is, one, we don't know where restoration money is going to be held, and if it's going to involve IGAs. You know, we're now asking for us to bless a project that we don't know who's going to be holding the purse on it. I heard testimony saying village engineer was handed engineering on that area there and how it could impact the adjacent properties. Village engineer just told us he has not read or seen anything. So there's just did you not, when I asked you if they submitted engineering to you?
No, so when I say we haven't seen engineering, we have a concept. There's a pretty picture that shows, you know, and I think you've all seen this, the farms, the solar panels, the ditch. What I don't have is like an actual set of engineering drawings
And
that
that's-
show the ditch and the cross sections and all those details worked out. So what I said is we have a plan and concept.
We have a plan and concept, but we
Yes.
don't have engineering.
An actual
that's going-
engineering drawing,
That's
correct.
going to explain where the next 100-year rain floods are going to be channeled or funneled to. So there's too many unknowns for me on this one.
A lot of unknowns.
Any other discussion items?
I'd
Sine?
like to, yeah.
Yep, please.
I want to start by saying I'm a strong advocate for sustainable energy. It's my preference that this option be chosen for our residents. A solar farm is a chance for us to generate clean energy locally while also supporting responsible land use. I know one of the concerns that often comes up is whether solar farms hurt nearby property values, and we've discussed that a lot tonight. I did look at 4 studies. Somebody killed my mic. Okay. One is from Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory in 2023 that shows homes within a half mile of a solar project sold for about a 1.5% less, while homes beyond a mile showed no effect at all. Virginia Tech did a study in 2025 that showed a 5% dip within 3 miles, but importantly, that effect faded with time and disappeared within about 10 years. There is also evidence of property value increases in some cases. A Duke University study found that higher income homes near solar farms actually increased by 12%. And in states like California, Massachusetts, the Berkeley research found no negative effect at all, sometimes even small positive gains. So I just wanted to put that out there. I know you guys have been given all these details already and you've discussed these facts, but I wanted to do my own research as well. It's also important for me that everyone understands this property was always, it has been zoned for light industrial use. So that means if it's not used for solar, it could be easily developed into a truck stop, warehouse, other business, projects that are permanent, bring heavy traffic, and create far more disruption. So that being said, solar is temporary and reversible after 30 years, and there are decommissioning plans in place. However, I'm elected to represent the residents of Poplar Grove, and you all have done a great job telling us how your research and how you feel. You live right next to it. I am not immediately affected by it like you all are. And my job is to represent you and what's best for the village. I'm also going to say that I'm disappointed in Inkberry. I agree as well with Trustee Cheek that the incentives were minimal at best. A 10% potential savings for a small portion of the population is not appealing. And I also specifically asked about where the decommissioning funds were going to be stored. And the fact that you still don't have an answer tonight is also disappointing to me. I know that it was said that they're not going to be stored with the company, but we should have an answer on where those funds would be held. I think your sale and presentation could have been a lot better, unfortunately.
Any other questions or comments from the board? Aaron, would you please advise us, this one has a special vote, would you please put that on the record?
Sure. So just so that the board is aware that because this is a special use that comes with a negative recommendation from Planning and Zoning Commission, that will require a favorable vote of a majority of the trustees then holding office. Okay, so a majority of 6 is 4, so you have to have 4 trustees vote in favor in order for this item to pass. The mayor's vote doesn't factor into that. You need 4 trustees. Bottom line. Okay.
Then if there are no additional questions or comment, can we have a roll call, please?
Dave Allgood,
No.
Dan Cheek,
No.
Mark Vance,
No.
Jeff Goings,
No.
Sine Hubbard,
No.
Owen Costanza.
Ordinance 2025-23 fails. For the good of the Village Hall is closed on Labor Day, September the 1st, 2025. Next Board of Trustee meetings is September 10th, 2025 at 7. followed by the 24th of September at 7, followed by October 8th at 7. Do we have a motion to go into executive session pursuant to 5 Illinois CS 120/2 C11 to discuss litigation when an action against, affecting on, or behalf of a particular public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when the public body finds that an action is probable or imminent, in which case the basis for the finding shall be recorded and entered into the minutes of the closed meeting pursuant to 5 Illinois CS 120/22 to discuss collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees, or the represented, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees.
So moved.
Motion by Dave, second by Owen. All in favor? Right, or is it a roll call vote, please?
Dan Cheek, Owen Costanza, Mark Vance.
Yes.
Jeff Goings, Dave Allgood,
Yes.
Sine Hubbard.
Okay. So executive session at 7:56 PM. While they sit up, I'm going to use David's room if that's okay.
Hold on.
So there's litigation.
Yeah, we can
We do the litigation.
Yeah, we'll go over
Okay.
the-
That's my question.
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay.
Do you remember how to do it? Do you remember what we did the last time?
But can someone check?
Can you turn off the mic? No, me first.
Nice shirt.
Oh, all right, entering into executive session at 8:02 on Wednesday, August the 27th. Can we have a roll call, please?
Someone check me.
Oh, let me check. I see voice.
on. There we go. Dan Cheek. Owen Costanza. Here. Mark Vance.
Here.
Jeff Goings. He's not here. Dave Allgood.
Here.
Sine Hubbard.
Okay, so we are now back in open session at 8:47 PM. We need a roll call, please.
Mark Vance.
Yes.
Here. You're here. Sine Hubbard. Owen Costanza. Dan Cheek. Dave Allgood.
Here.
Christy Richardson.
Here.
Aaron Zito.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
By Owen, second by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned at 8:47.
Give me enough time to ask for a roll call.
All right.